Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the QCY M1-PRO. These are Bluetooth in-ear style headphones, and they're unique because they have a magnetic design that not only keeps the two earbuds together when you're not wearing them, kind of like a necklace to hang around your neck, but also because it has a safety power feature where when the magnets are together, it automatically turns off, and when you detach them and put them in your ears, it automatically turns on. So you don't even have to tap on any keys, and it will instantly pair back to your smartphone. So that's a very cool feature that could save you a bit of time over longer periods of use. The earbuds themselves are also fairly low cost. You can find them online for under $30, so they're pretty inexpensive. Comes in a few different colors. They are water and splash resistant, and you can see there's also an inline remote that you can use to answer phone calls. There is a built-in microphone. You can pause your music and skip tracks fairly easily using the design. There is a sticker on the side that tells you this is an authentic product, and on the back you can see it plays up to 7 hours of audio on a single charge. It takes roughly 1.5 hours to completely charge, and you can see the connection range here is rated at around 10 meters or 33 feet. It's simply using Bluetooth version 4.1. Of course, QCY isn't new to making audio accessories. We've been seeing their Bluetooth earbuds, true wireless earbuds like the Q29 series for the past few years now, and we've been reasonably impressed with the quality as well as the low cost that the company has been able to deliver. This is a China, Shenzhen-based company, but they do have their own original designs for all of their products. Here we have optional tips, including some wings, so this will catch on the side of your ears a little bit better if you are vigorously moving or wearing these exclusively for going to the gym and for sports. There's also the micro USB cable for charging. Taking a closer look at the design of the M1-PRO first, it has a reasonable weight to it. The heft is mainly because the tips here are made out of aluminum and soft touch rubber, so there's a substantial weight, and they are again pretty strong earth magnets inside that keeps everything firmly locked when you're not using them, and also to keep them turned off. So when you're wearing them, you definitely notice a little bit of weight that comes off. That's also because the batteries are integrated into the ear tips and not in the remote itself. The remote is fairly small, and the wings here, you can see there's one that's pre-attached, and this is kind of what it looks like. It looks very small, but it's highly effective, at least in my testing so far. When I put it into my ears, it remained very snug and noise isolating. Also has a slight kind of angle of roughly 120 degrees for the ear tips, which also makes the fit just feel a little bit more snug. Otherwise, the cable they're using here is a traditional round wire. I do wish it was a flat ribbon wire because that will prevent tangling a little bit better when you're just tugging these into a pocket, something like that. In terms of the remote, it's fairly small. The keys themselves are pretty tactile and responsive, and you have access to the volume controls and the center key for playing, pausing the music, and you can long hold to turn the entire thing on manually if you want to, and also it dubs as the answer reject phone call key. On the side, there's a rubber flap that covers up the micro USB port for charging, and on the back there is the microphone. Overall, I like the design and hardware here. I think it's well constructed and also has a discreet, understated look. It's not too flashy, not over the top, but at the same time it has an interesting, slightly different look because they are cubes that are slightly tilted at this angle. It looks very modern when you're kind of wearing them. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the performance and audio quality next. When I was doing a quick sample playback with it earlier, I was really impressed because there is no kind of a distortion, there's no static between the music. So as you're listening to your tracks, what you'll notice is that it remains very clean sounding, even if you're playing and pausing the music or turning the volume all the way up or all the way down. Usually with cheaper Bluetooth earbuds, if you pause the music, you'll hear a slight hum or a hiss in the background. On these, it remains completely silent, which is always a great sign. Again, the tips for me were really comfortable. I think they put in a lot of work with the shaping and the ergonomics here, and that is excellent for sports. So as I started to jog and move around, it worked really well. Because the wire itself is quite small, it just tugs onto the back of your neck, there's also no noise generated by the wire as you're moving around. So I couldn't really hear a huge difference in the overall comfort between these and something like a true wireless pair of earbuds, like the Q29 or Apple AirPods, for instance. When it comes to the sound quality, there is a little bit of bass here. There's actually more than I was expecting at first because these are still relatively small in-ear style headphones at the end of the day, but there seems to be a little bit of extra punch compared to the QCY Q29, which is the true wireless earphones I was talking about. On here it seems to have improved a little bit, so you can hear a little bit more of the thumps and the bass drops if you're listening to EDM music. Otherwise, mids and highs remains fairly clean sounding. They're neutral sounding. It's not overly warm, but it's also not too cold. So if you're listening to vocals or instrumentals, it sounds actually pretty good. Highs are a little bit weaker. I would say they're definitely not quite hi-fi or audiophile grade. You don't get quite as much resolution and tight detail in the sound as much more expensive earbuds. But as far as these low-cost sports earbuds go, they sound excellent. And compared to other sub $30 Bluetooth earphones, I would say that these are definitely one of the better ones I've tested so far. Just because again they fit really well. They have a great noise isolating seal. Even though they're not active noise canceling, it really drowns out the background noises effectively. So you can't really hear any chatter. Sound doesn't really leak out, and it works well again when you're exercising or going to the gym. However, if you are taking these to the airport, you will still be able to hear parts of the engine sounds unless you have the music at full volume. When it comes to the audio and video playback, there is actually not too much audio latency on these. It's certainly better than on true wireless earphones like the Q29 that I tested, especially the first generation model that came out. On those, I complained about if you're playing back music, it's not always synced to the video, which means if you're watching an action film, especially a really fast moving sequence, you'll often be maybe a split second behind, which can be quite annoying in the long run. But on these, they actually worked a lot better. Part of the reason is because they've had more time to, I think, resolve and work on the engineering. Secondly, just because there's not as many wireless connections going on. The wireless earbuds don't have to connect to each other and then connect to your phone. On these, they're connected already by wire, and then you just have one connection to your phone. And that does improve things quite a lot. So on here, you can play back YouTube videos, watch movies, and it feels as comfortable as on a traditional pair of wired earbuds when it comes to watching movies and syncing it with the sounds. And as a demo of how quick it happens, unclamping the magnets, you can see it's turned on again, clamping it shut, it's turned off. So this process again works very quickly and works well. So I would say that if you're looking for low-cost Bluetooth, traditional Bluetooth earbuds, but have very good sound quality for under $30 and also a pretty clever magnetic design that not only keeps things tidy, but also acts as a power switch, which is the unique selling point here, I would say that these actually work very well, and they're the QCY M1-PRO in-ear style Bluetooth headphones. You can check out more details soon. This has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.